In this video, I'll be doing a transfer case fluid change on my 2012 Nissan Pathfinder. The tools I'm going to be using is a hand pump, which cost $10 and was also used for the differentials, 3 liters of Nissan Matic D ATF fluid, which is the recommended fluid, some high temperature sealant for the threads, which is optional, a torque wrench, 2 new washers for the plugs, a standard socket wrench, 10 millimeter hex or 10 millimeter Allen key, some gloves, a drip pan, and some paper towels. Now it's recommended that you check the fluid every 15,000 miles or 12 months, and under the premium service it has a change every 60,000 miles or 48 months. I'm going to be using ramps to keep this on level in my sloped driveway. The best place to access the transfer case is actually going right under the driver's seat on the vehicle. Getting under the vehicle, the filler plug for the transfer case is located here, and you're going to either use your 10 millimeter Allen key, or in my case a 10 millimeter hex attachment to a socket wrench. You're also going to want to have your drip pan under the transfer case at this time, as there's a good possibility that some automatic transmission fluid will leak out when you take off the filler bolt. So prior to removing the drain plug from the transfer case, I'm just going to try and stop the leak so that I can move the drip pan to the front of the transfer case and not have the automatic transmission fluid pouring all over my driveway. Looking from the front of the vehicle, the drain plug for the transfer case is located here, and just like the filler plug, it requires either a 10 millimeter Allen key or a 10 millimeter hex attachment for a socket wrench, as I will be using. You will definitely need your drip pan under the vehicle at this point in time, as there will be 3 liters of fluid coming out of the drain plug. Prior to reinstalling the drain plug into the transfer case, I'm just going to give it a good wipe down, specifically the magnet that is attached to the drain plug, and I will also be removing the old washer and installing a new washer, which I was able to purchase at Nissan. Now, it is not required that you use the high temperature thread sealant on the drain and filler plug bolts. However, I do have the sealant, so I'm going to give it a go. After applying the sealant, I'm just going to wipe it down so that just the threads have the sealant on it. The first thing we'll be doing is reinstalling the drain plug, and I'm just going to give a quick wipe down to the transfer case to get any the extra fluids off, as well as to give the threads a quick wipe out. We'll then reinstall the filler plug back into the transfer case. I'll be using a torque wrench to ensure that it goes to the factory specified torque, and in this case it is 26 foot-pounds. Unlike the differential fluid bottles, the automatic transmission fluid bottle actually fits this pump, and prior to putting fluid into the transfer case, I'm just going to pump out some of the residual oil from the differentials. I'll then install the pump into the transfer case and begin pumping the automatic transmission fluid into the transfer case. Once the automatic transmission fluid is coming out of the transfer case at the same speed that you're pumping it in, it's a good indication that you have filled the transfer case in this particular instance, it took 2.5 of the ATF bottles to fill the transfer case. Prior to installing the filler plug, I also installed a new washer and put on some high temperature thread sealant. And once the filler plug is finger tight, I'll just give the transfer case a quick wipe down to ensure that if there are any leaks, I will notice them right away. And finally, I'll tighten the filler plug to the specified torque, which in this case is 26 foot-pounds, just like the drain plug. Now, as usual, I put the old fluid into the containers, which I will take to a recycling center at a later date. So overall, the four-wheel drive service from Nissan is approximately $400, of which I estimate about $100 Canadian is attributable to the transfer case fluid change. My cost as a DIY project for the automatic transmission fluid is $6.20 a bottle for a total of $18.60 Canadian, and for the two washers I paid $17.62 or $8.81 each. So my estimate is a $64 savings by doing this yourself, and the job took me approximately 40 minutes to complete. However, you could probably do it in as little as 20 minutes if you had all your tools and everything set up. This job was neither challenging nor time consuming, and it is one that I would definitely take on again in the future. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.